Do you think that there's some people who will essentially say like, oh, it must be nice to not have to be able to sit on the sidelines because for them they go, this is like real world consequence?
Well, yeah. So here's the thing. First is the folks who say that are usually those are the folks who are usually also complaining about white privilege. They tend to be the most privileged whites,
yes,
so to speak,
absolutely.
Right? And so it's like Barnard, bam. You could just be like, okay, which private school? Sidley? Okay, which one did you go?
But also like anytime, like anyone, I feel like when you're trying to do anything like. Moving forward, at least in your own life, anyone that starts being like, oh, I would do that, but I have like some moral. You're just like, those are the people that tune out immediately.
There's an immediate counter argument to that, by the way. And you know the game of slaps in New York, like you go like this, on top of each other, right? So what they're trying to do is you're putting forth an argument, and they're asserting a dominance move. They're trying to say you're a bad person, right? They're not arguing true false. They're saying you're bad. Oh, it must be nice to be so privileged that you don't have to be concerned about this. And then. So, you can try arguing true false, but you have to actually go back with they're a bad person. Well, actually, the rest of the world doesn't want to get involved in another white on white war. So white on white violence, why don't you guys get and all these other poor people around the world can go and build up their own economies, right? And, so the thing is that somebody like that, essentially they're like, they don't even realize how aggressive they're being necessarily verbally. What they're trying to do is insult you and gain status, and you just can't let that, you just have to do it back.
I always feel like too, I think that's exactly right. And then also you're like sort of like a casualty to their agenda. Like you're not even on the same wavelength. It's just like you're trying to do something and it's just like a little bit in the way for them sort of, you know what I mean? It's like, so you should not don't even like these people are irrelevant.
They're actually very a good way to think about it. We know the term greedy, right? These people are very status greedy. Okay, they want to always have the highest status in any interaction. They're not willing to just engage with you as a peer and so on. They want to assert a dominance move of you're a sinner somehow. Oh, and they've got a practice repertoire really of sort of verbal tools, scalpels and hammers and so on, right? That actually were kind of developed in academia to win various kinds of faculty lounge battles. Okay?
Nerd battles.
Yeah, exactly. So all of these battles in like humanities, departments and so on, those weapons spilled out onto Twitter.
They work a little less
well, especially
now,
like it's like the debating stuff. Like the amount of people who you go on Twitter and just the average person on Twitter just knows every, like Latin debating term, and you're like, why do you all know this?
Right, exactly, because it's mimetic, right?
Yeah.
In fact, actually, I had this. Hold on, I'm just gonna read this tweet to you just because it kind of illustrates something. Hold on. My dude, bad take. This ain't it, chief. Read the room and do better. I know you hope she sees this, bro, but as a haver of good opinions, you're posting cringe. So stop licking dem boots, log off, touch grass, and delete your account.
Yeah,
okay?
It's like all of them in just one.
It's all of them in just one, right? And so the thing about this is, I posted this.
That's how I tweet.
I was like, yeah. So the thing is, once you kind of post them all together, right? And people at first didn't get that it was parodic because it was really like 11 cliches or whatever.
Parodic?
Like a parody.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it was like 11 cliches like back to back, right?
Yeah.
And what I call this down talk, It's like this condescending tone.
Yikes. You missed yikes.
Yikes.
Big
yes.
yikes.
Big yikes.
Big yikes.
That's a quiet part out loud. Stay in your lane. Not a good look. Take the L. Ratio.
It's a person that was like a doll that you pull the thing in and it only has like 11 phrases that can come out.
Yeah.
That's right. So basically it's like GPT-3. Do you know what that is? It's like a AI thing.
Yeah, the AI, similar like
it's like a chatbot.
Yeah, the chatbot, right.
That's right. So if you take not a good look, take the L in ratio, you can combine that into not a good look, man. Take the L already. You're getting ratioed. It's like an algebra of put downs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that going to be a shirt available in your merch store?
Something. Well, the thing is, what I do is when you distill all of that, right, and when you can put it all together and you can see because they're all like spread out. Or all these
what happens? Yeah.
Yeah, you realize that that's almost like people learning words that they're repeating. Somebody came up with that and it was like a little verbal knife for close quarters combat that fits in the 140 or 280 character environment of Twitter. And so because that little verbal knife kind of works there, it's like copied and cloned, this digital knife that you can just stab.
Like in a video game.
It's like a karate. It's like a karate move.
It's like a karate move. It's exactly right. So it's like a verbal like this, right? But then you can often go meta and you can actually block, grab, like Neo in the Matrix, right? You can turn that knife into just digital bits by just quoting like 50 of them, and then that person, it's clear that they're like cliche.
It'd
right?
be like a movie where like the villain, they just had to show a mirror to them.
Yeah, exactly.
And that was like they go to dust.
So in the same way, those are like the dumb versions, right? The smarter versions are check your privilege, toxic masculinity, all that type of stuff. Those smarter
Higher stakes.
Yeah, they're higher stakes because they have a bunch of theory behind them. And all of that theory delegitimizes the target on the other side. It's like, is academia, there's all these papers and stuff behind it. Because, using a phrase like that is bringing in reinforcements, right?
Yeah.
They're citing effectively scripture to say why you are a sinner and why they should have higher status than you, right?